Hey y'all, this is Software Focus, and today we're going back to basics with Camtasia. You don't want to miss this. Today's episode will be focused on transitions usable within Camtasia. To start, we need to open up the Transitions menu on the left side. It is the fifth one down on the left, between Annotations and Behaviors. Clicking on that will then reveal a fairly large list of transitions that can be used. So going through quickly, a few of the highlights: we have barn door, checkerboard, classic fade or fade through black, inset, pixelate, ripple, stretch, wheel, and zigzag. In the transitions pane at the top, you can sort by different types. By default, it'll be set to all, but if you click it, you'll see fades, movement, objects, stylized, wipes, and these, of course, will limit the available transitions to those kinds of transitions. So if I click on fades, it shows me just fade and fade through black. If I go to movement, then I get the ones that are, we flip the entire image, a page turn. You'll notice that if you hover your mouse over any of these, you'll get a demonstration of what the transition does. So a spiral, you see it spiral in. Objects, get cube rotate and whip spin. Stylized, we have dissolve, glow, these. And wipes, you got, the barn door, the blinds. How transitions work are they get applied to breaks between pieces of media on the timeline. So I'm going to apply a couple pieces of media down on the timeline for demonstration. Alright, so right down here in the timeline we have the broke H dots and the classroom zoom. These are assets built into the Camtasia library. And if we, scrub through it, you see it plays fine. But then right at the end, where the transition between the two pieces of media occurs, it's a abrupt change. Transitions help smooth that out. So just as a random grab, let's try cube rotate. I'm clicking and dragging down onto the media. You'll see that I'm trying to apply it directly to the break, and you'll see little green bars appear indicating that's where it's going to sit. I let go and it places it there, and now I have the transition placed and the green bar indicates that that exists. So now if I was to play back the timeline at this point, we get a different transition rather than an abrupt change. You may have also noticed that the ends of the media started to glow, like you could apply a transition there. And you can. These would be, of course, like fading in, fading out, or other type of transition. So if I put it like this checkerboard one that I have at the beginning and move all the way back and play it, it kind of checkerboards in. In the properties pane with transitions, the settings are very minimal, but if I click on the transition, it'll turn gold indicating it's selected, and we look over at the transition options in the properties pane. We get to change the transition if we wanted, and we can also reverse it. So like you saw how it kind of moved from left to right. If we reverse it, moves from right to left. Now, one thing that some people have seen, if you have say you have a recording of a document or whatever, and you want to apply a transition between one topic and the other, but not much physically changes on screen. So to do that, you'd want to place a split where you want that transition to sit. So say I want it right here, I'll split the media at the playhead. And so now, according to Camtasia, I have two pieces of media here, and I have a split where I could place a transition. Now, of course, since all I did was split the media, no real change occurs here. So if I say I wanted to just fade out and fade in, we'll do fade through black so we get that black. And there you see the fade. Say I wanted to fade between these two parts, and I'll just use fade here. Drag and drop down on it, and we'll play it. Nothing happened. No visual object change. Well, that's because, especially with that particular transition, it's intended for major changes between the two sides of the break. This would occur with a lot of different transitions. If we do like circle reveal, no change. And again, this is because of how the transition is designed. It's intended to show the difference between two different scenes, and the scene that we have split is very similar. So if we want something a little bit more drastic, or at least visible, we can choose something like fade through black, where it's applying a black frame like right in the middle. So if we play it, it goes dark and reveals itself. Some of the more physical changes, like cube rotate here, where we actually get a animation or a flip, will work in this situation as well, because we're adding something to the frame, just like with the fade through black. So if I play this, and we'll see it turn. So those are ways that you can make a transition for a audio topic correspond with a visual change on screen. So like turning a page or whatever. One final thing to note is that these transitions can be lengthened in time or decreased. You'll notice each one of these teal spots has a little 3 lines, like a grab point, and that literally is what it is. I can click and extend the length. There's a little indicator below that appears that tells me how long or how many frames it's visible for. So right now, that transition lasts for 2 seconds at the end of that particular piece of media. If I drag it down, that's 27 frames of that piece of media. Usually transitions should be no less than like 15 frames. Like per side, you'll notice these are, the whole thing is a second, but each piece is only 15. Going less than that, you'll run into a couple issues of the transition may not show up correctly either in your render or in your presentation here, or it'll just be too quick and no one can really tell what's going on. So I think that just about covers it for transitions. This has been Software Focus. If you like this video, hit that like button or click subscribe to join the channel for future videos. If you have any feedback or ideas for future videos, please leave a comment down below. Keep focusing.